Yeah, welcome back. It's Michael again, and we're looking at the US dollar, the Dixie. And I have changed the count in a couple of ways on this one. So the first way I've changed it is at the highs, wave one, two, three, four, five. It's a weak 5 wave move. I've changed the labeling somewhat to that with a very small corrective wave here for wave two. Now, if you look closely at the subdivisions at the small degree there, it's hard to dispute a very small wave too. That kind of leads me to believe that the reason why we're seeing a larger wave two, for wave three is because of that reason. The alternation is extreme. Um, it's definitely unusual, but it makes sense. I don't know why, but it does. But the thing that doesn't make sense is how high will this bounce in order to get a proper retracement going on? If we look at this particular move since the end of wave two, put a fib on there, like really we haven't had a full proper retracement. And that's a bit of a worry because if this is the right view and we haven't seen a proper retracement yet, then for this to bounce higher is not out of the question, right? It's just not. So what I mean by that is like, well, usually it's a case of support becoming resistance. I'm just going to draw this line here for an example, right? So just say we have this red line, we'll just make it dotted. We'll make it, let's say, yellow, right? So this is the area of support that then got broken and created this A B C D E pattern. But usually what happens is you get some kind of pullback to that area, right? And that's a fairly decent whack from where we are. So how is this going to affect the Aussie dollar if we're expecting it to bounce higher, right? So that's a bit of a worry there, even though it's like it's not all bad news. I don't think it's all bad news. I don't necessarily think that we're gonna. I don't necessarily think that the Aussie dollar view is going to change dramatically. Well, in terms of breaking the low, I don't think it's going to break the low. It could, and if it does, obviously that's a problem. But mm, it just seems like unlikely, right? And if it does do that, I suppose it kind of sets up the whole idea that we could see an E wave that extends lower, basically. That's sort of a problem though, because in terms of timing, such a larger drawn out E wave, it doesn't really have time to develop unless this particular E wave ends up being extremely drawn out from where it is now. Like, for example, let's just say that this E wave starts off with three waves, right? It's going to correct three waves. It's going to correct three waves. Something like that, right? Like that can take time. And therefore it couldn't, it could work in the Aussie dollar still producing an E wave. Yeah, that could happen, right? Will it happen though? Like it's just something that like you can assume it's going to happen, but you don't really know if it's going to happen. Or another option is potentially this E wave at small degree is already completed or close to completion, and at the non-farm payroll or the non-farm employment change, whatever the news event that's coming up in roughly an hour, roughly an hour and a half, is this already done, right? If you go to the small degree of this move, right? The first thing I see here is it could be a five wave move, it could be a zigzag. Um, to me, it's these types of moves are so small, I can't stand trying to bloody figure them out. It's just they're just so annoying. But like just say you had A, B, C, D, E, like A, like a three wave move here, right? Let's just say you had a three wave move. Now, sure, it could be a five wave move, right? So, but the only problem is this is a five wave move straight afterwards. So, you know, I hate these waves, by the way. They're just so annoying. Like it could be one, two, such a small one, two, though. Like it just doesn't make sense. Three, right? And then you had price action that comes back down here. It doesn't quite touch the one, two waves. It's like, what the hell? What's going on there? Right? So it could be one, two, three, four, five. And, if you check the RSI, you haven't really had the strength. Like that's got to be wave three. Look at the strength on the RSI there, right there, right. We haven't had that strength since. So what is that? All right. So just say like that is wave three. Wave five can be any bloody length, unless it's wave three, which apparently it isn't, according to RSI. Like what is that? So if that's A, B, well, whatever, wherever that goes, A, B, C. Where's D, E? Right. That is a good question. Where is D, E? Could it just be down here? D, E, and then we have like one, two, three, four, five, A, B, C, D, E, D, E, something like that. Three, four, three, four, A, B, C, D, E. One, two, three, four, five. Is this almost done? Is it? Is that what this is about? Is it almost done? Because where exactly is this thing going? Like, where does it want to go? Like, I can just keep saying that it's not gonna, it shouldn't surpass the yellow dotted line. Yeah, I mean A, B, C, D, E. Like that's logical, but like Jesus, like what kind of weird E wave is that? Just a bit of critique on the E wave there. It looks weird. Um, uh, yeah, look, it looks very zigzaggy for something that if it was going to be, excuse me, if that was going to be like a wave three now, just say for example, right? Like a one, two, three. Well, that's already weaker than wave three. That's already looking weaker than wave three. Maybe like it could be like one, two, and then one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, that could happen. Absolutely. That's not good. That's definitely not good. But I don't see how it fits with the Aussie dollar view. I'm less likely to be believing that. There's no knowing at the moment what that's going to do. We could have small one, two, three, four, five. It just doesn't look right. That's the problem, right? I tend to not go with views that are that strange because having come up with Arias wave, I wasn't really you know there wasn't a lot of data that allowed me to go that small into detail, and I could still tell it was an E wave. So really, the small waves, it's almost like they're there to absolutely confuse you like hell. It's just been something that I've learnt over time. Small degree waves are there to confuse you. If anything, just ignore them completely and count the major waves. So we have one, two, three. Probably still in three now. That's the obvious way to look at it. It doesn't make sense, but it's the obvious way to look at it. Um, instead of trying to go small degree, figure that out. No, it's just stupid. That easily could be just one wave right there, and then two, and then three, and then we could see a four and a five. It could be just drawn out. Sorry, not very drawn out. It could end very soon. We don't know. But at this stage, like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to interfere with the Aussie dollar much, even though it looks like it would. If you have a quick look here at the Aussie dollar, it definitely does give you that feeling that it would. But considering that Aussie dollar was down here at this point here, right? When the US dollar was at this point here, and it's then now come back higher, and Aussie dollar hasn't made a new low, that means something. So we'll leave it at that for the US dollar, and I'll come back and talk about the Aussie.